The Backwoods Baetis Nymph, a buggy nymph that should slam some trout this spring. Looking forward to it. Hope somebody else can catch some fish on this fly also. Start out with a size 14 scud hook. Pop that in your vise. Thread I'm going to be using is just a brown 16-aught Vivus thread. I like the smaller thread for these smaller, more technical flies. Start your thread here behind the eye of the hook. Work your way back to a partial way down the bend of the hook. We get there, we're going to get our material for a tail. This fly, I'm using a natural fox squirrel tail. Just going to cut off some fibers here and put them in the hair stacker. Try to even them up a little bit. You want to keep this tail kind of sparse. Get all the fuzzy stuff out of it and all the shorter hairs. Save you some hassle when you go to tie it in. Just drop them in the hair stacker. Tap them down a little bit. Pull them out. Just lay it on the top of your hook, nice and straight. A couple thread wraps to secure it down. Make the tail about as long as the hook gap. Just going to do some tight securing wraps down to where I stop my thread on the shank. Make sure nothing moves on us. Snip that extra end off and tighten this thing down to the hook shank. Next step is going to be adding our black UTC small wire. This is going to give us the rib look. You don't want to put this wire on with too tight spirals. You want to kind of leave it maybe 3-4 wraps up the shank of the hook. Give you that good segmented look on the fly once we add our UV resin. Start up close to the eye there, about where you stopped your thread, and just wrap back, keeping your wire to the side of the hook, not on top or below. Wrap your thread all the way back to the start of your tail. Just going to come back up, covering any gaps in between the thread that we have. Make it a little bit bulkier there towards the head of the fly. Gonna secure our thread back with the bobbin holder. And just counter wrap this counterclockwise up the hook shank. leaving nice, even segments in the body of the fly. Just gonna secure a wire down with the thread. Helicopter that extra piece off. There's your body. Now it's time to add some UV resin. This is just Solar X bone dry resin. Comes out pretty globby, so I just use a little wooden toothpick type thing to get the right amount on there, because you don't want too much resin, just enough to coat and still be able to see your wire. Just start it on there and dab it around. Make sure you get a nice even coating in between the wire segments. Coat it the whole way back to the start of your tail and the whole way up to where your thread's hanging. It gives you that nice segmented look. Hit it with the UV light for a couple seconds. Then we'll be ready to add some dubbing. Excuse me, we got to add this Vivus pearl tinsel to give us that flashback look on the fly before we add our dubbing. Just going to cut like a 1-inch strip off. Carefully attach it perfectly straight to the top of the fly. If you get it crooked, you'll really be able to notice it later on. Secure that down nice and tight. Now we're going to add our dubbing. This is just a fine black dubbing. Nothing special. It's actually a dry fly dubbing, I believe, but I didn't want something too spiky for this fly. I just wanted a nice, smooth look. Take a little pinch, make a little noodle on your thread here. Ended up putting too much on, but I left it in the video just so you could see what to do if you do that, how to remove it. Make a couple wraps here and realize that I have too much. I'm just going to pull it off the thread. Take the scissors, cut the excess off, and then tighten it down with the thread. Alright, so the next part of the fly is going to be adding our legs here. This is just a starling skin. Just pick out a feather that looks nice that you can cut the tip off of to make some nice even legs here for you. The feather I used was kind of close to the the back like the tail of the bird. Once you got your feather, you just want to pry some fibers down and then cut the tip off. It pretty much forms a perfect V. It makes even legs on both sides of the fly. Remove that excess junk off the back of the feather there. Now you got your legs. Just set them on top and secure them. This takes a little bit just to make sure you have everything lined up. It's an important step to make sure your legs look even. Having this tinsel on here really helps to center this up. If you just push it down and then pull the tinsel forward, really helps to secure it, keep everything straight and lined up. Again, just take your time with this. This could be the difference of the fly looking nice and even, or you getting frustrated and not liking the outcome. The most important step of the fly right here. Once you get this thing centered up, get your tinsel pulled down over, straighten that up, and it just ties everything in nice and tight. Just pull back on the tinsel a little bit and take a couple wraps in front. That'll make it lay back down towards the other part of the tinsel after you cut the tag end off. Kind of camouflages that a little bit. Take your scissors and cut as close as you can. Take a couple more wraps right behind the eye, tighten everything down. Just give her a little whip finish. 4 turns. Don't need any more than that because we're going to put resin on top. A little bit of excess dubbing hanging there, just cut that off, unless you like it. Alright, we're going to take our Solar Res bone dry resin again. Just get a little bit here up on top. Gives it that extra glisten in the water, and I think it just makes the shell pop a little bit more. Doesn't take much. You don't want to have a bunch of extra on there going all over the place. Could ruin your fly as well. Just a little bit on top. Cover the thread wraps a little bit to secure them. Add to the durability of the fly. Now we're just going to hit it with the UV light. Dry everything up. That's a fishy, buggy looking little Baetis nymph. Hopefully this video will help someone tie this nymph and catch you a big trout on it this spring. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And tight lines, everybody. See you on the next video.